Hi guys, everybody. We're back. It's Lisa.
And Danielle.
Happy New Year. I know we've had a couple episodes out, but we haven't just been the two of us on here catching up since New Year. So everybody, Happy New Year. And
Oh my
what's
God.
new?
New year,
What's
not new us.
Yeah, no, let's not put that pressure on ourselves. Like I have made some decisions on things that I want to accomplish, but not for a new year. It's more of a um time to just cross this off my list and just do the things I wanted to do. Yeah.
We're okay. So
You guys. So okay, I know a lot of you are listening to us on the podcast, whether it's from Apple or wherever, but we are live on camera and we post this to YouTube. And I know a lot of you guys don't watch us on there or know about it, maybe even. So a lot of times like things like just happened like right now, we were laughing because Danielle, we've just realized recently on this platform we're using that if you do certain hand gestures, it shows up on the screen like a Zoom call. Like Danielle just did a little hearts. She made the little heart with her hands, and all these
it
little
makes
hearts
me
show up
feel
on the screen.
so old. Like we
And
do not use technology. But we did not
yeah,
we just didn't know that the recording platform that we use does all of
did
this
that.
until we were sitting here. We were just chatting and I did that and it threw up the hearts and the fireworks and all this other cool stuff. And so absolutely our platform does do this. And so yes, I just made
It's
the heart.
funny.
I know.
So we're having fun with it because it's always shocking. It started with like a thumbs up. We would be talking and looking at each other, while we're recording, and all of a sudden their thumbs up would pop up at us somewhere. We're like, "What is that? Like, where did that come from? And who's listening? Like, this isn't live." Actually, I shouldn't say. I said that. We're live. We're not. We're recording
Do
on
record, yeah.
video.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's just weird to see those little things, and us being the age we are, I guess, has to do with it, and we just don't know that this stuff is
We're
going
getting
on. So
older. We were just
yeah,
talking, like you
mhm.
said, we have some new things. We were literally just talking before we started to record about something we want to do for our community um, of police wives. And I hope we do this.
partners,
Yeah.
partners, spouses, girlfriends,
Spouses,
boyfriends.
police wives, just setting up this really cool community of, um, support. We feel like we've been deep in this for, Lisa, I feel like for your whole life, it's your
Yeah,
dad, your brother, my husband for 15 years, but my father-in-law, my brother-in-law. So I feel like being a supportive community of this for wives and even moms or, whoever wants to come out, we're hoping to set some support up for this during this next
yeah.
year.
We know there's a lot of like groups and stuff that do certain things like that, but it occurred to me that there might be like we have each other, we know each other, our families that work together, we're friends. There's a
Mhm.
lot of us that are really close, and so we know each other. We have a lot of resources, and it occurred to me that there could be plenty of women out there that don't have friends that their partners are in this field, or they don't have family members, or they don't understand, and they don't maybe their husbands or partners work doesn't get together and introduce each other to their spouses and families. Maybe not. I feel like that's got to go on out there, and there might be some people out there who don't have anyone to turn to when they are not understanding like them. Like they have family and friends, but they don't understand the position to be in when you're waiting for that phone call to hear that they're okay, um, or what that's like. You know what I mean? So it just occurred to me that maybe we should throw it out there, like, hey, you may not know us, but we know exactly what you're going through. And if you don't have anyone that you can relate to with this, we're here. We're
Yeah.
here. We can
Yeah, so
help.
Lisa and I, we talk a lot with AJ Jacobs on the Blue to Green podcast, and so this is a topic that we talk pretty heavily on is like the spouse to law enforcement officer relationship, and so Lisa and I were talking today about just how cool it would be to have that support group and possibly setting up some meetings throughout the year with really whoever it is that wants to come and join us for a breakfast or a
Mhm.
lunch or a dinner, and kind of ask all the questions and, just have that friendship that we're wanting to give. And here in our community, but really whoever it is in other places that wants to start these same things. I just feel like it would be such a good benefit. I've had, like Lisa said, I've had such a good support system around me, and not just her as a best friend, but then her husband and my husband being such great friends, and just having that support always. I just think it's so special. But it's
Mhm.
such a crazy lifestyle. Like we live this not just law enforcement lifestyle, but then specialty unit. It's like it's just such a crazy lifestyle that I don't think people understand when they get into it what it always means. So
Mhm.
yeah, that's certainly on our list of to-dos this year in 2024. So we'll keep
Mhm.
everyone updated on what that looks like. So lots of fun
Yeah,
things.
I'm excited for that.
I
I think
know.
it'll be
But like,
helpful because I know that feeling of if I didn't have you to reach out to or any experience growing up with this, I would be like, what do I do? What do I say? This happened. I don't know what to say. I don't know what to think. I don't know. You know what I mean? There's so much that I can't imagine somebody who has no idea what goes on, and then for the person they're in a relationship with come home and tell them these things and how they're feeling and what happened, just a shell shock, and they don't know, and they can call their best friend or their mom or their sister, but they don't know what that's like either personally. So that would be really tough.
no, the responses typically are like, "Oh my gosh, Dee, I don't know how you do it." And I'm like, "Well,
Yeah.
you don't really do it." Like,
Yeah. You
I
don't have a
you
choice.
learn yeah, like, you learn to cope and you learn to, navigate situations and you learn but it has literally been a life with my spouse and this, field of learning, and we're still doing it. Like, it hasn't ended. And to your
Hmm.
point, we um we have our sweet friend Emily that we talk about, that
Hmm.
does our hair, and our husbands all work together. And Mathena, who was on with us just this a couple weeks ago, and our husbands all work together. I mean, we just have such a great community of women and friendship, and we all
Hmm.
love each other, and it's just so great that um, we all understand each other. And
Yes.
I mean,
Yes.
if you don't have that and you can't go and like cry to each other and talk to each other about the difficulties that you're having, at home when your husbands are upset with something or something doesn't go right at work, or
Hmm.
um, they've had a hard day or there was a really hard day for the team, um, what do you do? And so
Right.
that's when people are like, I don't know how you do what you do. I'm like, I really don't do what I do. We've learned to do it together.
Along the way.
Not
Hmm.
Yeah, not just as a marriage or a, partnership here at home, but we've learned to do it together as a friendship group. And so it's really special that we have each other. So for those that don't have, someone to go to, yeah, I
Yeah.
don't know how
We
they're doing it.
want, yeah, we want to be that for them, stranger or not. I want to, because it's another level of a relationship, whether you're married or just or dating or whatever. There's always those struggles already, right? Being in a relationship, there's struggles. There's good times, there's bad times, there's things that go on that everyone can relate to. Fights about money or whatever have you, right? This lifestyle, we keep saying lifestyle because I have no other way to explain it. Um, this job adds another couple levels to that. Because imagine on top of the already things that you work with along the way as a couple, now throw in a crazy schedule or a unpredictable schedule rather, and then on top of that, the danger level of that, the worry. Sure, a lot of people worry about when their husband gets in a car and drives to their office job. Sure, could you imagine? Like, now think about us. They're not just driving to an office to sit down. Sometimes they are, but sometimes they're driving at really awful things. They're heading to really terrible situations that have elevated that worry and risk tenfold.
Yeah,
So,
we were just talking about how, um, you know, for us,
mhm,
they the phone goes off at 2, 3, 4 o'clock in the morning, and not only
mhm.
does it go off for them, it goes off for us.
Sure, that sound, you know it, and you high alert. It's always a, is that a, are you leaving?
You're
Or,
leaving, and we
hmm
hear the gear, and we hear the I don't want to call it frantic motion, but we hear like the frantic motion of getting dressed in like quickness.
to get out. Yeah.
And
Hmm.
hear
They
the
could be in a sleep, you know?
yeah, for my side, um, I hear the phone calls back and forth, in a
Hmm.
supervisory role, making
Hmm.
sure that everything gets organized appropriately.
Yeah.
And then I hear what the call's for.
Hmm.
And so not only is there like fear setting in on my end, but it's like, okay, it's like super early in the morning. Um, what's gonna happen? And
Yeah.
then they leave. And it's like, okay. We don't hear from them for a
Yeah.
while, like a good
Hmm.
while. But there's all it's like a layered cake. There's
Hmm.
where they're going, where they're like when they're gonna be home, what they're gonna be doing. But then I have this crazy Danielle layered piece of they're driving really fast somewhere on the highway.
Yeah.
They're like
Yeah.
lunatic.
Sure.
And I'm
Because
like,
they have
oh
to
my
get there
gosh,
fast. Sure.
there's drunk drivers out right now.
Hmm. Wrong way drivers is the one that goes in my head.
All of it. So yeah, I
Yeah.
mean, there's like it's like layer upon layer upon layer upon layer. So there's no easy, there's no easy way to navigate this lifestyle, but I think Lisa and I hope to help people. What am I trying to say
I
here?
know what you're saying, because it's like, you want to, because I feel this way. I want to let people know that we understand what that's like. And it's not just the how you're feeling, because I know you're also wondering how how do I support him and what him or her and what they're feeling and going through. You know what I mean? It's not just about them, it's not just about you. You're
Yeah.
both going through this in different ways, and how to talk to them about that, how to explain how you feel,
Yes.
and how to hear them explain what they need and how they're feeling, and know that they can, that there's a lot to it. There's a lot of not just being understanding and, you know, compassionate and being okay with, all the calls out and all the crazy hours and the time away from your kids if you've got little kids. And there's there's more to it. There's the mental part of it, that you want to be supportive. Maybe you don't know how to, because you don't know what they're seeing or what they're going through. You have no idea, or they don't tell you, or how to get them to talk to you, or how to get them to understand what makes you feel like, without making it all about you. You know what I mean? There's so much. Um, and as women, I think, at least us, we tend to we do all that in our heads anyway. We're going through like 10 different things at once all the time, right? So
How to see
I,
signs with them of um
yes,
them needing
if something's
something.
wrong.
Yeah. I just think it's also important.
Hmm.
But I guess yeah, that's what we're trying to do it.
Hmm.
We're
Yeah, we're
hoping
gonna
to make
figure
it
it out.
we're gonna make it a thing. We're gonna
Mm.
put this community together, and if anyone has any stellar ideas of um anything that we can implement into this community of people, that would be wonderful, and hit us up, send it to our social pages, and we'll take them from you, because we certainly think that this is a big thing. We want to have
Yeah,
a large community of friends, and friends that we call family, and so it's a big deal to us.
yeah. We think that a lot of we just want to be there. We me and Danielle both, and not everyone may believe this, because sometimes we could be quiet and standoffish sometimes until we get to know people. Maybe people don't know that we are inexplicably compassionate and want to be there for people, even if we don't know them very well, or maybe even don't. seem like we're the same kind of people, somebody you wouldn't necessarily spend time with or whatever. We don't care about that. If they needed someone, we would both be there, you know? So we want to just put that out there for people who don't maybe have that support.
Yes. Yes, yes, yes.
Mhm.
Um, well, oh my gosh, like that's a big plan. I don't know that I have
It
any.
is.
Um, I have so many work things coming up aside from like that's a fun thing for me, like this,
Mhm.
getting all of
Oh,
our
yeah.
Leo family wives together. I feel like that's like a really fun project that we get to look forward to. I've got a lot of fun. I don't know if I call them fun work things, but I have a lot of work things coming up in 2024 that
Mhm.
I'm on like deadlines for. So I don't know if I can call that fun.
Sure. Yeah, no, I get it.
2024 is like,
That's
we're already halfway through January. I feel like it's nuts.
oh, more than that. What's today? The 20th.
It's insane.
Mhm.
And
I
with
know.
Hayden's wedding coming up, I don't even
Oh
know.
my
Like,
gosh.
I know.
That's the other thing to bounce back to that. I don't have little children. I have a stepson who's older, but I don't know. Like there are these women that have kids, like little kids, like you do, and how to explain to your kids what daddy's doing or why he isn't there. How to explain that. How to explain. Here's another thing I thought about recently. I'm sorry, I'm jumping all over the place. It's just coming to me, but the way the world is now towards police, right? The thoughts on that. I've heard plenty of comments of people who have kids that come home and say, my friend at school says police like to kill people, right? How do you explain to your child that that's not what, how to handle those things? I can't imagine. I can't imagine having children and having to do this like that. It's amazing to me. And obviously Danielle, you can relate and Emily can relate, Mathena, like you all have kids and do this. And there may be women out there that really need you.
Yeah. So I'm going to share like um, it seems pretty dark, this story. Like, while for those of you that are listening that don't necessarily know this lifestyle, um, you learn to you learn to say things to ease conversation a little bit when you're in this lifestyle in these marriages. And Lisa will
Hmm.
understand when I give these two examples. Um, so I'll say things to my husband after a call like, uh, did you have to shoot anyone? Because I feel like it's kind of easing our way into, is he going to tell me um is he going to have to tell me something that he, you know, is there going to be some sort of trauma story that I'm going to have to hear today? And that's my way of
Hmm.
coping, is having to like open up that conversation of what am I going to hear?
Sure.
And after all these years, that's how I've had to cope with what I could possibly hear. And
Hmm.
um which sounds a little dark, right? But it's like that's how we have to start that a little bit. Well, for kids, our youngest, our my husband didn't come home for a long time. They were on a really, really long call. I want to say it was over, uh, over a night that left early in the day, the previous day, didn't come home through the night. And my youngest came into my bedroom and she said to me, she just stood at the doorway and she said, Dad must be dead because he didn't come home, and just turned around and walked back out.
Yeah.
And so I said, I text him and I said, you need to talk to Reagan when you get home because she thinks that you're dead.
Hmm.
And it was very nonchalant that she did this and she said it, because
Right.
the norm that they've learned to respond to is that he just didn't come home tonight. And
Hmm.
we've trained that into them. How frightening is that? We've trained
Right.
it into ourselves that it's going to maybe happen one day. So
Hmm.
that is what we as spouses and as children of these, and you know this, Lisa, being a child of a police
Hmm.
officer, that you almost train into yourselves to like think could potentially happen. So you have to like, I'm okay with this. I'm okay with this. I'm okay with this. I'm okay with this.
Yeah.
And so when people ask, how do you do this? You're like, well, I've trained myself to think, no, that is not true.
Mm-hmm.
But for my
Mm-hmm.
daughter to walk in and say something like that, you're like, oh my,
Yeah.
the freak is wrong
Yeah.
with you, kid? So yeah, it's like
Right.
your kids think um, during all of the BLM stuff, my son, who's now 14, so this was a few years ago, he came to my husband and he said, "So, Dad, you kill all the black people."
Mm.
And we had to sit down and have a very serious conversation with him that
Right.
is absolutely not what police officers do.
Right.
So, yeah, it's
Yeah.
like,
That's what
what?
they're here. Yeah, that's what I mean. Like that's what something I thought about. Like when I said that, it's like, how do you what they hear at school or from somebody else or on the news or maybe catch a glimpse of something because they know
Yes,
their lifestyle. They know their dad, their mom, their uncle, whatever. But then they hear these other situations that are, you know, complete shock to them.
yes.
Like, how do you explain that to them? It just, ugh,
You
it's
don't, I mean,
heartbreaking.
you don't really, like, you have to sit down and talk to them. Like, you have to sit down and tell them, like, "No, your dad's not dead on the side of the road, he's working." Like, uh,
Mhm.
or, "No, like, your dad does not kill, like, colored people."
Right.
"What? No. Did your
Yeah.
friends tell you
No.
this? Like, that is not what police officers do. Like, I know you read the news, but no, that's not what school like, why is school teaching you
Yeah.
this?" No.
Right.
So, it's an interesting field. Um, it
Especially
certainly is.
lately.
Yes.
Mhm.
Uh, it's interesting when politics play a part in what um, the men and women do that are in law enforcement or any
Mhm.
public service, um, because what they do is so special that,
Mhm.
when children start to see when children start to decide what it is that they do because of something they've been told,
Mhm.
it's sad. We know our husbands, and um, what they do and the people they are so special
Mhm.
that, for our son to say that, I was like, "Oh my gosh,
Yeah.
sit down right now."
Right. Right.
Yeah, so, yeah, it's just interesting.
Mhm.
It's crazy. But I
Yeah.
don't think that's ever gonna stop, but certainly
Sure.
how to navigate those conversations with your kids short of, like, slapping
Yeah.
them in the face.
Right. Yeah, but just to know that there's someone else out there that has had to do this. And yeah, maybe not an expert at anything, but certainly can say, yeah, this happened, this is what I did. It worked for me, or this is maybe try this, or I don't know. I just feel like some sort of support
Or like, "This is what
is
happens when
needed.
I get pulled over all the time,
Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
'cause that happens.
Hmm.
Lisa and I are
Yeah.
pros at this."
It's a shame.
It's it
Yeah, we
is.
are.
It's a shame. It's not
Hmm.
even driving fast half the time. It's because I just can't get my life together and I'm like weaving in and out of traffic. I don't even know what it is, guys. I don't know what it is, but somehow I seem to get pulled over for stuff.
Hmm.
It
Me
is
too.
probably my fault. It's my fault.
It's
And I
usually
take
speeding for me.
responsibility every time.
It's usually speeding or the one time where I was trying to avoid a light. So I cut through a gas station parking lot. And so he pulled me over, and this guy was so funny. I had no idea what I was doing was wrong. I really didn't. Because I wasn't like recklessly driving. I just saw, okay, this light's taking forever. Oh, I could turn right into this gas station and go out the other side and be where I need to be. I don't need to sit here. And so this guy, he saw me and he pulled me over. And he's like, so we just walked up to the car and I'm like, was I speeding? I don't think I was. He's like, no, no, but did you mean to stop and get gas? Um, no. He's like, so you didn't want to get gas and change your mind? I'm like, what? No. I said, why? He's like, well, you just pulled in the gas station, but then you left out the other side. So I just thought maybe I'm like, I'm going to need some help. What are you doing here? And he's like, did you pull in there to get away from that light? Well, yeah. And he goes, you can't do that. He's like, I'm trying to help you here. I'm like, no, I had no idea. I'd never heard that before, that you couldn't do that. So it was a very funny moment. But yes, that other than that, it's been speeding for me, or me jerking around the road to avoid a bird or some small
That,
animal that I don't want to hit in the road. That'll get me pulled over too,
that's
usually,
what I
because
get
I'm.
pulled over for.
Mhm.
It's like or like if I've dropped something and like I like weave like this and they're like, have you been drinking? And I'm like, it is 9:30 in
Right.
the morning. Have I been drinking
Yes.
on a
Yes. Would I like
Tuesday?
to? Yes, but no, I am not.
And
Do
I
you
didn't
have
drink a
any
beer.
alcohol?
And I didn't drink a zero. So by the way, there's no way I'm
I
drunk.
just saved I just saved a blackbird's life on the
I just
road.
saved a chipmunk. Did you see it?
Yes, yes, yes. I was doing a public service of my own. Thank you.
I
I
love
should
it.
get an
Oh my
award.
god. Yeah. Oh gosh. Well, we have tons
Uh,
of fun stuff coming up. I think that we should do like these Danielle's crazy updates for everyone with Hayden getting married because I don't have we even told everyone that Hayden's getting married? My oldest is getting
I think
married
you
in
did.
April. Did we?
Yeah, you told
Yeah.
her that she was engaged, but not that. I don't think that she was getting so married this year.
Yeah, she's getting married in April. So it's coming up very quickly. So we'll be sure to post some updates of that. And me looking probably like a crazy person as that gets closer and closer. She's super happy and ready for this to happen, and things are coming along very quickly and very well. So it's coming along. But she is working for City of Mesa now as a
Amazing.
um, EMT on the ambulance. She's only gotten on the ambulance one time in a set of Birkenstocks instead of boots. So we're very proud. Yes, Lisa's face.
She hates shoes like you.
Yeah, she texted Dad and I, and she said, "Oh my gosh, I just ran a call in Birkenstocks." So, but she, she's making her way there. She's loving working with the City of Mesa. She's doing a great job, and we're super proud of her. So these public service folks in the family, they're doing a great job, and like I said, we couldn't be more proud of her. But
Yeah,
we'll post all these
she's
fun
got a lot of.
updates. Yeah, she's just
She's got a lot of exciting things happening.
yeah, she's living life, young.
Mhm.
Oh, to be young again.
And you're entering a phase too, and you're entering this phase of now you're gonna have a married child. You
Yeah,
have an
except
adult
I'm not
child.
gonna be a grandma. I don't have
No.
old skin yet.
What do you want to be called?
I don't mind any of it. I don't want it too soon. I don't have old skin.
Yeah. Well, I
I'm
do.
not
She can.
I'm not
Oh,
ready.
she
But
does she want to have kids soon?
she does want to have kids. I don't know about
Yeah. When
in
or
a few years. Yeah, in a few years. I
yeah,
hope in a few years is when that really happens. Um, but I'm sure just like how Jared and I were young, so I'm sure that she'll start young, which I think
yeah.
would be good for them. But yeah, we'll see.
Yep.
We're
So
we're gonna
exciting.
see where the road takes her.
Yeah. It'll be a fun road, and I'll be here for you.
I know. We're excited for all of it. But all right, everyone. We will be back here soon. We've got a lot
Yes.
of fun episodes. This next episode that we will be posting, a lot of fun updates here. If you haven't listened yet, go back and listen. We did a fun recording, a Inspiring Others episode with Jess. She gets very vulnerable and shares a lot about herself and some struggles that she went through with sexual abuse and suicide. So we think that's a really special episode to listen to if you have
She's
not.
amazing.
Yes, go back and listen. And
Hmm.
we certainly will have her on again for an update. So, and if you're struggling with any of those, we've left some resources in there to look at. So, certainly go back and listen to that episode if you have not yet. but we will be back on soon. So it was nice to be here with everyone, and we will talk soon.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
Yeah, yeah.